Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Well, let's start off by you introducing yourself. What's your name and where you from
Well,
and what you do?
my name is Lakia Nard. I'm originally from Illinois, but I reside in Kentucky. I've been here about 15 years.
Okay.
Um, I have a couple of businesses that I have, but my baby is my nonprofit. Um, I got the logo on. It's called Melanin Children Matter. So
Okay, okay.
yeah, that's my baby now. So
Okay, so
that's
kind of harp on that. What is Melanin Children Matters?
Melanin Children Matter Inc. is a nonprofit. It's geared, we service children, heal families, and educate society surrounding childhood rare diseases. And we give out resources and soon to be micro grants for children with autism.
Okay, okay, okay. So how did you get started in that?
Well, I had a son. My son recently passed away. His name was King Nasir Gates. King Nasir means one who overcomes in victory.
Yeah.
Um, he was diagnosed at 3 with a gene mutation called SPTLC2. Um, so what that was is he was producing too much fatty acid, so his nerves didn't signal to his muscles properly.
Yeah.
He was the first boy ever diagnosed with this particular gene mutation, second child ever diagnosed.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah. He passed away of a extremely rare disease on Rare Disease Day. So, um,
Sorry to hear that.
thank thank you. So that's what got me the journey that him and I went through led me to starting a nonprofit for children with rare diseases and autism because he was also autistic as well. So,
Okay. I know that no parent wants to bury their child and have anything going wrong with the child as far as complication wise. So for you, what was that healing process like? Or
um,
and muster up the support and motivation to keep going.
so that's what started the nonprofit. There was no support. um, when you when your child or you get diagnosed with a rare disease, they have no study, they have no database, they have no research. So all they give you is they don't even give you a pamphlet. All they give you is a talk to tell you that your child will die very soon and to go home and enjoy them. That's what they
Damn.
tell you. They don't give you any resources. You are not given any outlets. You're not giving anything. So it's up to you to go and find your now crowd that you're going to be getting introduced with. So my
Yeah.
son was misdiagnosed 3 times before they even he got diagnosed. We had to fly all the way out to the NIH, the National Institution of Health. We flew all the way out there and got the diagnosis. And he was misdiagnosed 3 times. The first time was SMA, then it was muscular dystrophy, and then it was CMT. And none of those. And I advocated for my son. So every time they gave me a diagnosis,
Yeah.
I went and researched that diagnosis,
Yeah.
and I went into those support groups, which are not very supportive.
Yeah.
So when we finally got the diagnosis, and he got diagnosed with the actual gene mutation with SPTLC2, but it falls underneath Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
Um, so by that already being something so out of the ordinary, when I went into the group, I was automatically a liar. I was scamming.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah, yeah. I didn't fit in. There's no kids with this disease. There's
Yeah.
rarely any black people with this disease. And it got so high on the chain to where my neurologist had to speak into the doctor's forums like, that is my patient. She is not lying. This
Yeah.
is what her son has. So because there was very lack of support, even with your family, I don't know if it's, I'm going to just say, because I like to be optimistic, I'm going to just say they don't know what to say
Yeah.
when given that position. So I lost,
Honestly, I wouldn't even know what to tell you. Honestly.
yeah,
Cause like you want to tell somebody everything gonna be all right, just have faith. But it's kind of
yeah.
you know, it's my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, that's
no, but
like,
it's
I can understand that. Like most people not gonna know what to say because they also,
yeah,
even though you're going through it on the forefront, like you 10 toes in it, they like that's our family too. We going through it. You
yeah,
know, they don't necessarily know exactly what you're going through and how to probably be there for you.
yeah, and so they wasn't there, so
Yeah,
people didn't know what to say or what to do, so it was kind of like, I got alienated. People kind of tiptoed around. People
yeah,
didn't really, really didn't. So it was kind of a lonely journey. Lonely journey in the beginning. We're not even finna get into the co-parenting that came along with it.
yeah,
So, but that's a whole other topic. But that's how this came to play. So because of the journey was so intense and so lonely, I never wanted no other family to go through that. And being with my child having autism, and people don't even know really what autism is. Teachers didn't know really how to address the kid with autism. You find they're not getting they're not getting the knowledge that they're entitled to have as well, because most people, they tend to shy from children with autism. A lot of them get labeled as just bad children. Some of them just get labeled as they're not going to comprehend anyway, so what's the point? Like, so it's just so wide range to where I was like, this not working either, because now he's not getting taught the things that he should be taught. So I had to homeschool. So it was a lot that came to play with that. I watched him deteriorate. I watched him teach himself how to walk, crawl, to not being able to walk anymore, to not being able to feed himself,
yeah.
to just, yeah.
So what
So,
type of so for someone that knows what it's like to not have support, what type of support system do you help provide with your organization?
okay, so the first thing, our main priority is research with
Yeah.
results. Because I know a lot of people hear research and then it's just
Yeah.
constant research.
Because I was about to ask you about that, like research with results. What do you actually mean by that?
So when I say about with results, which means is I'm standing 10 toes down on it.
Okay.
So I'm out here. I'm working with the NIH. I'm working with different doctors. I'm working close with these places to where we're finding out what is these steps. What are we going to do? How are we going to change this? From going through approved FDA medications to seeing what can work to natural herbalism. So like I'm really into this, and if I can get to the clinical phase with that mutation, my goal in 10 years is maybe to take on more rare diseases, so we can, especially for our community, tackle that, because there is no research for our community when it comes to rare diseases. So
Oh, that's most definitely real.
you got racial disparities, and then you have the lack of trust that
Yeah.
we have with, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's hard to get the data and the research when we don't have the trust in you. So that's why I say with results. I'm not just going to say we're taking this money and putting it in research, and then I can't tell you how far we're getting in research. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? When I say resources, you can go on my website right now. I have a list of resources for children that have autism that they give out grants. Right now, I'm working to partner up with the Board of Education to go over the
Really dope.
IEPs, the 504 plans, to
Yeah.
really assess these children with diversions. So like ADHD, ADD, ODD, autism, in
Yeah.
the school, because we still have the school to prison system that we have to dismantle. The
Yeah.
school to prison pipeline, we haven't even dismantled that. So imagine that for a kid that's neurodiverse. They
Yeah.
already don't have the attention span to learn this. On top of, I got to deal with the racial, how you set this up for me to fail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I plan to do a lot, as well as I'm working on micro mini grants to give out to families for transportation, because it's not cheap raising a kid with a
Yeah.
disability.
No,
It's
you said
not
you have
cheap.
to fly all the way out.
To the
You said,
NIH.
yeah, the NIH,
Yeah, I
and you was
flew
coming out of pocket for all of this.
no, they flew me into the NIH,
Okay.
but
Okay.
And that's because he was the first boy ever diagnosed with this.
Yeah.
So it was like, you know, it's rare. So they was into it. They're trying to, you know, get to the bottom, because I'm on it. Like,
Yeah.
I had a doctor that I Uber eated 45 days straight just for him to get to pay attention to me. And he was world renowned. He came up with a cure. It took him 2 years and 10 months, and he had a particular cure for this one rare disease. So I'm looking, I'm looking, I'm finding these doctors like, look, this is what it is. And when it all boils down to it, okay, well, let's talk about these racial disparities. So you gonna help me, or what we gonna do? What levels we gonna get to? Because it's not enough. We're not doing enough. Our kids is not thriving, and it's on us to help them thrive. So if we already have neurotypical kids not thriving, think about the families of the children who have some type of disability or some disease, and how that can crumble a family structure.
Yeah, no, that's most definitely real. What were some of the challenges you went through with like just getting the organization started?
Oh my goodness, every challenge you could think of. When I thought of it, I'm like, okay, it's a nonprofit. It's gonna be easy.
Like grant writing and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was just thinking it's not a profit for me, so it's gonna be easy. That was my mindset. I'm really trying to find cures. So it never dawned on me that it is 10 times more work than just starting your own business.
Yeah,
10 times more work.
Business just a business plan and just following through with your service or product.
Yes.
Organization, you gotta have pieces in play. You gotta be networking. You gotta know what grant, where they at, and deadlines, and how to write them, and justify what you're trying to do. I'm a little bit familiar with it because I didn't work with like a few nonprofits like you.
Okay.
But
it's
it was
a lot of work. It's a lot of scammers.
Yeah.
I had a lot of people prey on me. Yeah. I had a lot of people prey on my weakness when it came to that. They was like, oh, they heard the story, they hear what I say, and they like, yeah, this is my mark. So I done had somebody get me out of $700 when I first started, and I had another person got me out of $1,500 when I first started.
Wow. So give people tips on that. Like, if you're trying to start a nonprofit, how do you avoid those type of pitfalls, like dealing with scammers, dealing with people that's just gonna mislead you and misguide you just because they want you to be a number to them, in a sense?
I would say do your own research and research the research that is given to you. Once you can research the research, you know for a fact what's going on. The people that are coming to you, research them. A lot of this stuff you can it always takes money to make money. But a lot of this stuff you come out cheaper if you do it on your own. When you get into marketing, look at their references. Like, just be thorough. And everybody is not there to see you win, and everybody is not there to help. So do it yourself. Research the research.
So I know, like, it must have been kind of hard. Like, for one, you already been burned a few times from dealing with people, then trying to convince people that I'm not like them.
And be black.
Yeah, and be black. It's name, you feel me? Melanin Children. Like, so it's like having all those strikes against you. How did you or how are you learning to navigate with even building trust with the people you're trying to advocate for?
Building trust by facts and standing on what I'm saying. Yeah. If you go to my page, you'll see I had a child with a rare disease. So therefore, I can communicate onto that level. I'm in there with these doctors. I have other doctors that can vouch for me. So it's names of who I worked with and people that I've networked with that has really been, you know what I'm saying, giving me that solid ground. Also, professionalism. I make sure my website is professionalism. I make sure when I write or send anything out, it's professional. And I make sure I appear professional. So when you get to networking on the scale that I'm trying to get to, because I'm trying to go national. When you see St. Jude's, I want you to see Melanin Children right after them. You know what I mean? Because
No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
man, there was nothing for us. I'm gonna tell you right now, there's nothing for us. There's nothing for us. There's nothing for us by us.
And that was like, even when you said that, like he was the first. Not only was he black, but he was one of the first male, like boys, to ever get that type of rare disease. So you even trying to explain that to a regular person, like this, when I'm going through, my son got this, they probably looking at you like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, and yeah, right. Your
Yeah,
child, the first. Okay, yeah.
yeah.
All
So
right.
it's like,
Scammer.
yeah, because I mean that's
Scammer.
real big right now. Scamming is real big right now. People getting
Yeah.
really creative with the different ways they choosing to scam.
Yeah.
Like how you said, like people probably heard your story and was like, either A, I can use her for what I got going on, or B, she vulnerable right now, so she looking for somebody to trust.
Yeah.
And she don't know who to trust.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah, I know that's
I was burned by people who had credentials. They just didn't want to use their credentials for me.
yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, because keys open doors.
Yeah.
So if you got a key, like, you hear me knocking, let me in.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been hard. It's really, what's the hardest thing for me is getting the melanated community to back me. That has been the hardest journey, unfortunately.
I ain't gonna lie to you, I understand that. And one of the hardest parts, because like how you say, we grew up in a culture where like now we've been burned by everybody, our own people, other races. We feel like nobody's really for us. So you trying to come into my life, telling me you gonna help me, you gonna provide this. Man, you tight roping, so a thin line. So as soon as somebody comes small or you say the wrong thing, they're like, oh, I don't even want to mess with you.
Yeah.
They won't even give you the chance just off bat. Like you literally got to fight with our own people to kind of be like, I'm just here to help you.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's hard. And then the space that I'm trying to create, trying to create a safe space. And what people don't understand is the safe space that I'm trying to create ain't taken from nobody else. That's why I named it Melanin. I had a lady said that it was told to me by a woman who was she was in a higher position I was. I kind of was like, I wanted her to mentor me.
Yeah.
That she wouldn't help me unless I changed Melanin Children Matter to Black Children Matter. And I told her, I don't know, but I was like, well, that defeat the purpose, because the purpose is melanated. That means there is many shades. That means there is all. So it wasn't, this is not about Black kids only. This is about the many shades of melanin who have been racially we just go through it. We go through it. I can go anywhere I want and I can hear a Caucasian's perspective. I can empathize with them, see it through their eyes, because from ancestors on down, we've been around them. We know history.
Yeah.
But there's not many spaces for me to go to and say what I need to say and feel safe to say what I want to say, because it's no disregard to you. It's not to make you feel bad. It's just I'm not safe in your space. You got a lot of space.
Yeah. I feel like my voice may be overlooked or not heard.
It's gonna be, oh, here she comes with the race, or it's gonna be, oh well, it's always gonna, no, I need you to understand where I'm coming from. I need you to see my perspective, and I need you to understand that until we can comfortably talk about race, then nothing will ever change. Help will never be done. Males die by the police, but we don't talk about the fact how Black women and children die in the medical field. We don't talk about the mortality rate for our children. We don't talk about that.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So these are issues that need to be tackled, and I can't tackle these issues if you just don't side-eye me and here we go with this. No, I need you to understand. I need you to feel me so we can make it better. If you for real about this unity, if you really care about especially these children, how are we gonna make it better if you can't understand where I'm coming from without taking offense to what I'm saying?
A lot of these parents nowadays, because I'm a parent myself, but it's easy to get overwhelmed with your responsibilities in life.
Oh yeah.
I got to work, I got to provide. That's why my next question was like, how did you not get overwhelmed homeschooling your child? Because that is a very alternative route that a lot of people don't necessarily got the patience to do.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
how did you have to kind of mold yourself, but also like step into that realm of becoming an educator?
it was I
Because
was
that's what this
always
really is, like, a black educator.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
always I guess kind of say nerdy anyways. I'm a
Well,
so
why do you say nerdy though?
I would say because that's the typical when people say they like to read or they're into this or into
Yeah,
that. It's you know it's nerdy, but I always like to feed the brain. When they say
yeah,
reading is fundamental, reading is fun to the mental. So I've always been that type. So with my son, I say he was autistically smart, awesomely autistically, because
people
he
don't be
spoke.
understanding that autistic
No,
kids, they got a level of brilliance
man,
to them. Yeah.
this kid spoke in Spanish and in Portuguese.
You said Portuguese?
Portuguese and Spanish. And I'm gonna tell you, he specifically picked that language because I
Yeah.
tried to change it. I tried to change it and put another language. I tried to put Swahili and something else to see, and he would back
Yeah.
right up out of it. And we talking about he wasn't even 3. I think he was like 2.5.
Wow.
But he was nonverbal.
But that's what I was just about to ask you. Just like due to autism, a lot of kids with autism, they start out being nonverbal, and then they got to go to speech therapy.
Well, not all of them start out nonverbal. Some of
Okay.
them just be talking away. Some of them you can't even tell. I could
Yeah.
be sitting across from you right now, and if I didn't tell you I was on the spectrum, you would never know because that's how wide range the spectrum is. So
Yeah.
although my son spoke different languages, he was still considered nonverbal because he would not have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
You couldn't say, Keenan, I see how's your day today? And he'd be like, oh, I'm having a good day today. He would not do that. He would
Yeah.
not do that. He's not going to have a conversation with you. So he was deemed nonverbal. So people have to also understand is just because they say nonverbal, it doesn't mean they don't speak at all. They
Yeah.
just don't speak to a neurotypical level.
Like
So,
right. Like how you saying like the everyday day-to-day conversation.
yeah,
Like,
no eye contact. They're not gonna have, but when he wanted to demand me, he knew how to come in there on that wheelchair and hey, water, yeah, I want outside. He 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 knew
damn,
how
that's
to
what's
get what
up.
he wanted. Yeah, he could tell you what he wanted. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But 2 languages, that's pretty dope. So did you like come up with like a certain type of curriculum for him?
Yeah.
Like he was homeschooling?
So
And have you ever
I
thought about like well you say that you was going into the education, like the board of education in
yeah.
certain areas where you want to try to change, I guess that like the curriculum and how they are diagnosing the kids. But
Yeah.
have you ever like thought about like starting like your own like course?
No, not really, because I have so much other stuff
Things
going
going
on.
on?
That's
Okay.
why I want to present it to them and have someone else take off with it and finish that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because I'm already like spread thin. Because like you said, I had him, he was the baby boy. I was fortunate. The rest of my kids are older. I have 5 kids. My
Okay.
oldest is
That's dope.
24.
Yeah.
My oldest is 24. I have a 22-year-old.
So how old is you?
Yeah, I'm 41.
Okay. Because I was about
Yeah.
to say you look fairly young. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
I'm turning 30
Thank you.
next month. I'm turning 30 next
Okay.
month. But I'm like, you look
Okay.
like
Happy
you
birthday.
know, close to around my age.
Yeah, no, I got some older kids, so it was a lot, but he made it. He was meant for me. When I say how I got through, I didn't get through it because let me stop lying. I'm not through it. I'm not through it. I'll never heal from it. I'm not even
Yeah.
gonna lie to you. But what I find comfort in knowing is that I was placed with a gift to care for an angel. So that angel wasn't given to me for a lifetime. I wasn't gonna, I was only left to look after this angel for a certain amount of time. That time expired. And so I just have to, control the flesh from wanting that and yearning for his flesh. And I try to, you know, keep that mental of he's still here. He's,
Yeah.
you know, so that's how. But you just, man, faith.
So I
Nobody
got a
wants
question. Was there
to
ever
hear
a
it, but
time
faith.
that you said what?
Go ahead. I hear you.
No, I was gonna ask you, like, was there ever a time where your faith was challenged in a way that, like, it was like you had to kind of, like, did you almost lose your way, or like find different ways to strengthen your faith because of like what you're going through?
I've been through a
Because
lot.
it's easy to lose faith. A lot of times, like, we might start out as kids, our grandparents or parents might have had us, you know, in some type of church, mosque, or hall or anything like that. But then as we got older, real life started hitting. Sometimes our faith get challenged. Sometimes we question God, like, why you put me in this? Instead of like being like, God, I know you're gonna help me get through it. So was there ever and if there was a time, how did you kind of, how did your faith kind of help you, you know, evolve and get through this whole process?
Um, I've been through so
My bad,
much.
that was a long question. My bad.
No, it's not a wrong question, but I definitely could say I've been through a lot. So my
Yeah.
faith was always tested. But I think him passing away, and he passed away twice. He passed away, and he passed away in his father's care, and he was visiting his dad, and he passed away. So by the time I pull up, the ambulance is pulling off. I'm doing 100 right behind there, all the way there. My baby got one last smile before he started having seizures and became brain damaged. He looked at me and gave me one last smile.
Yeah. He still was
So,
smiling through it all.
man, that boy smiled. That boy, I'm talking about
Yeah.
just, even when he lost his ability to walk, as he was starting to fall, he would just get up and laugh. Like it was, so, because if I feel like if I can watch this child, this 3-year-old to the age of 7, smile through what he was going through,
Yeah.
I ain't got no reason. I ain't got no reason.
Understand.
So I keep my faith by looking at other people. I used to always tell my kids, there are people winning marathons with no legs.
Yeah, that's
I
very
don't want to hear your troubles. They're minor. I don't. Let's find a solution. Don't cry to me about it unless we're gonna talk about a solution. So we got to keep moving. I mean, we can't. So my faith was definitely tested when he passed, but my faith is also why I understood that it was an angel that I had to look after briefly, and now I have to do what was left in me to do for that angel, and that's to keep his legacy going. So I started Melanin Children. I also have a vending machine called King's Vending, which is for my son, and profits from that goes to the nonprofit. So
that's pretty dope. So what is the long-term goal?
The long-term goal is finding cures, healing families, and educating society. Like I said, I if everything goes right next year, I'll be handing out micro grants to help families get to places. Like my child, every time I went to the doctor, it was 2 hours away.
Damn. Yeah, because you said you're in Kentucky, right?
Yeah, I'm in Kentucky, so I had to drive all the way to Louisville, which is 2 hours for all his appointments. So just having a little bit of help with that can help. I spent months in the hospital. I had to fight to bring my son home and care for him myself because of the lack of nursing. So we have to get our children in these fields. We have to push our children into these fields other than basketball and rap. We got to get them in nursing. We got to get them in doctors. We got to get them in lawyers and judges. We got to get them in these fields in order for things to change and be better equally.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you. The long-term goal is most definitely dope. Do you ever see yourself opening up like a headquarters or like a center?
Yeah, that's why I'm waiting now, because I had a nice amount of grant presented to me. Yeah. So if that grant go ahead and falls through, I would definitely have a headquarters. Right now, I do a lot of work out of my house. I have a van. I'll pick up children and their families, and so they're able to go to a park. Because people don't understand that when you have a child with a disabled and you don't have the funds for transportation, you're stuck in the house. There's
Yeah,
no
because
going nowhere.
it's a special type of vehicle
Yeah.
a lot of times.
So, I use my van to help other families maybe go to an event that's, friendly for the whole family to go to, just to get them in a different space and still allow that child to be a child, even though they have some type of disability. Because that's the most important, is just allowing the child to be a child.
So what been some of the type of challenges with like, well, no, actually, you already said it, being Black, being not taken advantage of, and then also having that networking system, support system.
Yeah.
But just like going forward, how could people help you?
Sharing. Sharing helps with network. Sharing helps with getting into the right places where people is able to donate, even if you can't.
Yeah.
So, even if you can't donate, share it. You don't know what families is going through.
Yeah.
So just a simple share. Let me know. Hey, if you run across somebody that's, willing and in that field and wants to support, share it with them so they
I
can
actually know
contact
some
me.
people that's actually in that field, but they kind of spread it across, the states. They probably like in Minnesota, Detroit. Detroit, that's where I'm located at, and I did a lot of work in Minnesota.
Okay.
But I know people that also that's in that same, when I say I work with youth programs and did that type of work, like I know people that's in that industry. Well, I ain't gonna say an industry like it's just business, but that's what they do.
Yeah.
Like they provide some type of advocacy or some type of like service to the community. And that's why I was like, I understand the challenges that may come with it, as far as grant writing and then understanding, like even when it comes down to grant writing, you have to literally down to a T have what everything is being used for. What is the actual plan? It's not like an actual, it's even more refined than the actual business plan. Like for business, if you got a business plan, you walk into a bank and you can show them that you make money, it's cool. Nonprofit, they need to know where every single dollar is going.
Yes, they want to know. And your vision.
Back to them and let them know how things is going.
Yeah.
Like in order for you to actually get that grant.
Yeah, and it's definitely thorough.
Yeah.
And it's catching them. If your vision can catch them, people will pour into you. But you have to get in that space, though. See, it's those spaces that we go back to.
That's real. I've seen that too. It's like, have you ever dealt with like, well, I think that you have kind of mentioned it a little bit, but have you dealt with like gatekeepers? People that's like, they say, I mean, like they basically, they the one that can put your grant in front of the board to get approved or not. But if they not really rocking with you, they gonna put who they know in front and kind of be like, yeah, I know this person, I trust them.
Yeah.
Even though your application or grant might be up there, they like, but I know this person.
Right.
Like, so
you're gonna deal with a lot of gatekeeping.
Yeah. you deal with that already?
I deal with a lot of gatekeeping. That's why I know I have to thoroughly research the research. So for me, like I have other avenues. Like I host on different platforms. And on those different platforms, this is what I do. I talk about my nonprofit, or I help people get their businesses started. So I kind of do a little bit of consulting to help, fund the nonprofit and stuff. But gatekeeping is something that people will text you for. And then I understand, because it takes a lot of research and knowing the knowledge that you have. And so I understand why some of them charge, but at the same time, I'm like,
basically paying for the credibility.
Yeah,
because
you're paying for them to, for you to skip the research. Basically, you're paying for them to tell you the steps to do.
So, what have you learned, like on your own, from doing research? Because I always tell people this, even when people try to talk to me about religion, politics, I always ask them, is you going off of what you didn't heard somebody else tell you, or did you actually look this up yourself? And when you looked it up, did you just go to the first website that agreed with your opinion, or did you go to like a thorough resource that's gonna be like non-biased to opinion?
Yes,
like this is straight information, straight fact. This ain't
Yeah.
no
See,
opinion, like no opinionated article or nothing like that, which may be owned by the company that's part of the agenda.
yeah.
But like, did you
No,
actually look up
you
the facts and information?
yeah, yeah. And that's why my biggest thing is research the research.
Yeah.
So if somebody give
Yeah,
me
I heard you said it
something,
a lot. Like,
yeah,
talk on that. Like, what did
yeah.
that like
So
really
what that
entail?
means is if I tell you you need these steps
Yeah,
to start a business, and I tell you the steps, when I say research the research search, you go through those steps,
yeah,
but you go further. You go further into depth in what you need to do. See, people
yeah,
only going to give you a piece of the puzzle. Nobody's going to put together the puzzle for you unless you
yeah.
pay that
You
fine.
break
You know,
some.
if you pay that fee,
Yeah,
yeah, they're willing to do it. So I'm going to go, if you tell me, hey, you can go to gov. I'm going to give you an example. If you tell me to go to gov.com, everybody knows to go to
yeah,
gov.com, and you can get you a free EIN. So when I go to the gov, I'm looking at everything that's on that website.
yeah,
I don't just stop, get the free EIN, and then I'm gone. No, you put me up on a website, I'm finna go through every aspect of that website, see what they offer, and what benefits me. So
yeah,
that's what I mean by research the research. Don't just do the steps that I tell you to do. Go
yeah,
further into the steps. If I give you a website, don't just look at what I told you to look at. Look at the whole website. You know, so read the whole paragraph. So when you
yeah.
get to talking about faith, I was never bound to one religion. I'm not religious. So therefore, I've studied Islam, I've studied Kemet, I've studied Mormon, I've studied Jehovah, I've studied Christianity. So I researched the research. If you tell me one thing, now I got to go see. You know, I don't just
Now, I
show up
can
to
agree to
church.
that, and I
Yeah.
say that because I'm not gonna lie, I'm Muslim, right?
Okay.
But I also took theology,
Okay.
which is basically like the study of the Bible,
Yeah.
and got an understanding of that. Then I done sat in on like Buddhism. They basically had a thing that was informing you and educating you on what is Buddhism,
Yeah. Yeah. I got into that before. Yeah.
and then it was
So
like understanding of that. So it's like along that path though, it kind of helped strengthen me with my own personal faith though. Like this is why I choose this lane because I understand the practices, I understand the beliefs, but I also have studied it in a sense.
yeah. Yeah.
But for you, like, my question for you is like, even when we got to talking about that, like your faith been tested. You
Mm.
as a person, mentally and physically, have been tested.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what did you discover about your own self throughout this whole process? Like, what did you learn about you? Like going through the hospital visits, doing the research, like being there supportive wise, like as he was growing up, even all the way down to his last breath. What did you discover about you?
I discovered I can only be shattered, never broken.
Ooh, elaborate.
And
Because I done seen a window, like a car window shatter and it still stayed in
yeah,
place.
it stay right there. Never, it
Yeah,
don't break. The wind can blow, it don't break, but it's just
yeah,
there because, and I say that because after out of all the things I've been through in my life, that was the hardest, and I feel like the most thing that can break a soul, that can break a
yeah.
human being.
You most definitely can.
Holding your son as they take their last breath, watching your child deteriorate, and you still have to care for them. So you have to learn. He ended up with a trach. So now you have to learn to change the trach. You have to learn to work the ventilators. You have to advocate in the
Yeah,
hospitals. So I shattered. I shattered. I am shattered.
yeah.
But I have not broken. So that's what it taught me. I can adapt and I can learn anything that is given to me.
That's dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as our people, like, because we go through so much traumatic experiences, we endure so much.
Yes.
But one thing about us is like we still have not been broken.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, like when you say like going back to our ancestors, they survived the whole slave trade. We survived the crack epidemic. Like we
Mm-hmm.
survived through so many different phases of life that like now it's kind of like it's like rediscovering your own strength.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So and that's ask you like what has this whole process showed you about you?
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely show that I'm definitely, I have the capability of adapting, and I can weather anything. I can go
Yeah,
through anything. I can rise to the occasion, as they say.
that's most definitely
Yeah.
real. That's
Yeah.
most definitely real. So I mean, I don't want to go too deep, but what is what's one of the biggest things you worry about right now? Because like you got a lot going on. You got King Vending Machine business. You got the nonprofit. You're still a mother at the end of the day.
Hmm.
So now what
Um.
worries?
Right now, that's my only this just my only mission outside of maintaining my own
And I'm still,
household.
I
And
don't know, it's still kind of hard for me to find out somebody told you to change it to black
yeah,
versus
yeah,
women.
I gotta show the shirt because I ain't missing
Yeah,
it. But yeah, it's this is what I do. Working, and probably all of it is just for this. To be honest with you, if when I go and pick
yeah.
up an extra job for passive income, it still all goes back to this, because this
So
is
I got
what
a question for
I
you. Like,
do now.
how you how are how do you take care of yourself going like out of everything you done been through? You're a mother of five. You feel me? Like no
Um,
offense, but you stay in the South, so I know that's a little different. And then going through what you done already done been through. How do you take care of yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically? Because I
um,
know emotionally, that shit can be draining. Mentally, I know you get exhausted at times, and physically, it's like you gotta will yourself to kind of keep moving forward. So, like for all the women that's out there, and just people in general, when they feel like they're going through it on so many different levels, how do how do you like self care?
um, no expectations for myself.
That's hard though. That's hard.
And I say that because it took everything I had in me
Yeah.
to care for my son. I'm talking about sleepless nights, drives, just when he gonna die, when he just constantly just.
Yeah.
So now that he's went on gracefully, I don't have that. My kids are older, so I don't
Yeah.
have I got grandkids. I can go goof off with them. So if I don't get up a morning, I'm not hard on myself. I didn't get up today. I
Yeah.
deserve today not to get up. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to do it today. So a lot of people are so hard on themselves, and I take that moment now. If I need a break, I take that break. Um, I just recently, my daughter, she took me to Miami. She took me twice to Miami. We went
All right, shout out to
after,
y'all, brother. You feel me? Shout out to y'all.
yeah,
You got the chance to go
yeah.
on the beach.
She took me to Miami. And then I just went on vacations. I went to Ohio, to the Pudding Bay Island with some family. I just been around the
Yeah.
family that I haven't seen in a while. Just people, just friends that I haven't talked to in a while, because it consumed me so much, and everybody was so,
Distant from you because they like you got a lot.
yeah,
I don't know how to.
yeah, So I didn't hold no expectations for others, and I didn't hold none for myself in certain areas of my life.
Yeah.
So I just I just do what I want to do now. For mothers who have other children, they need that time and they need that break. They
Yeah.
need that break to breathe, even if it's just to go sit down by a river, even if it's just to go sit on the porch, just catch some type of a long time. And most mothers, we cry in the shower. Cry. It's okay. It's okay to cry today. It's okay to cry tomorrow. It's okay to cry every day. But
So
long as you
like crying
keep
didn't
moving.
make you feel less than. It makes you feel more like it was a release of like
Yeah. Crying is therapeutic for male and female. And the more you hold it, the more it eats at you.
yeah.
And
I
it
learned that as I
weighs
got
heavy
older.
on you.
Like crying don't make you weak.
Nah. You push through that. I
Yeah,
mean, even if it's just a holler, they have this thing where you can go break stuff now. Go,
yeah.
go, think outside the box. Go do stuff. I went and bought a boat. I don't even know how to swim. I'm just go float because it's
Yeah,
therapeutic. Things that I've want to do for me that was therapeutic. I was like, it's time to do. So,
that's real.
it ain't all about. Most people be like, they take their time to go party. They go to a club and get drunk. Take that time and just go to yoga. Go to something different. Expand. Find a
Yeah,
sense of peace outside of the norm. Because the music you listening to in these clubs are low vibration anyway. So if you already down and you go into an environment that's down, how are you healing?
yeah.
You have to truly heal. You have to come away from low vibration. So
So, at what point did you realize self-care was necessary to get through, like everything that you was going through?
watching my son deteriorate,
Yeah,
watching him deteriorate, realize the things that we take for granted, being able to see, being able to walk, being able to talk. Just watching him, I was like, damn,
yeah.
like that. Yeah, you got to take
No,
care of you.
yeah, because I ain't gonna lie, I haven't nothing on that level. But I dislocated my shoulder, had to have mouth surgery, my eye, all type of stuff, all in 1 month. So like for me, it was like that downtime. It was like, man, it made me realize I'm not as invincible as what I thought I was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then with that though, it was like it came a form of appreciation, like damn, I gotta do better.
Mm-hmm.
But then also realizing that like, damn, when they say your health is your wealth, like it's a true statement.
Yeah.
But it's not just your physical, it's also your mental, because at certain times I kind of beat myself up like I can't do nothing.
Yeah.
I'm in a sling, I can barely open my mouth, or I can barely open my eye, or something like that. Like I'm at
Oh my
a
goodness.
disadvantage right now, but life is
Mental health
like,
is everything.
yeah, like, but I have to remind myself that life is still good.
Yeah.
Like life is still good. Like as long as you got life, it's still good.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like just pushing through, like as you were saying, being able to push through certain things because you know you can,
Mm-hmm.
and not letting the situations you go through break you. But I feel like sometimes life gonna test you.
Oh yeah, it's supposed to.
Yeah, like
It's supposed
like
to.
oh, you think you can't be broken? Let me throw
Mm-hmm.
this at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
And
oh, you think you
it don't
strong?
stop.
Let me throw this at you.
It don't stop. But you gotta have a made up mind,
Yeah.
to be stronger than is what is thrown at you,
Yeah, so at any point in this like in this journey that you've been in, this pursuit, was there any moment that you had self-doubt?
Yeah,
Like
that
maybe
was
one,
quite often. Like, dang,
yeah,
I'm a overthinker already, and then I have a thing where I have intrusive thoughts. So that's daily. I'm always
so elaborate on that because some people might not know what
so
intrusive mean.
intrusive thoughts are just like bad thoughts. So like just say
Like I don't think I can do this.
the, no, intrusive thoughts. I'm gonna
Yeah.
give you an example of intrusive
Okay.
thoughts. Say you're driving in the car and the semi is coming this way, you're going this way. Your thought is what if I just go head first into the semi?
Yeah.
You wouldn't do it, but for some reason, it just comes into your mind. So I have intrusive thoughts, and then I'm already an overthinker. So I've doubted myself probably about 1,000,000 times. So it's and there's nothing. I don't think there's nothing wrong with self doubt. Doubt yourself so you can test yourself. You do everything that you do for you. Do for your heart. Do what the spirit is aligned to tell you to do. Don't do it for other people. because you will always fail trying to do
Please
something
others, because people
and
feelings
pleasing
change.
others.
I
Yeah.
might like you today, don't mean I'm gonna like you tomorrow. Or I might like what you're doing today, but tomorrow I might feel like that's taken away from like
Yeah.
it's taken away from our time or something. Like I might congratulate you today and be like, oh well, I love what you're doing. Then
Yeah.
tomorrow I might be like, well, I want some of your time.
Yeah. 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 It was a lot. Um, it was a lot. And then and then I told you with the co-parenting, that was stressful enough. Co-parenting with a narcissist, and I mean a true one. Not everybody just saying it because it's a new word they learn. I mean a
Yeah.
true malignant narcissist. So you're trying to co-parent with them. Um, You're trying to co-parent with them. You're trying to take care of a kid that you know is going to pass away on you. You're trying to raise the rest of your children. You're trying to have self-care and a social life.
Yeah.
So if you don't have your mental in order, it it could be very overwhelming. It could put you in places and bad spaces, but you got to
Yeah.
keep that positivity. Always find a way out. If there's a negative, find 10 positives. So that's what I try to do. Outweigh that.
But like, so like, just saying, because this in this world today, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's more easier to gravitate towards the negative than the positive. So like, we spoke about like being strong on faith, and you even said like self-care, understanding self-doubt, but like,
Mm-hmm.
and you still have those thoughts, but like, what kind of not methods, but what do you do to sway yourself from going into a negative space? Because sometimes for some people it's kind of hard to fight it. Because like how you said, you go to the club, you listen to music, it's these thoughts is being programmed into you in your everyday conversation. Like people rather hear about the bad of what's going on with you versus they hear about the good. Because then they can relate. So it's like, how do you kind of stay away from like falling into that?
Detoxing.
I don't know if that question makes sense.
No,
But
it does, because it's basically it's a detox. I
yeah.
detox. You can detox with the inside. Of course, you're gonna make sure you go through your the detox for your inside. Drinking your teas, vegetables, fruits, because you start with there. Because believe it or not, the things that you eat is also low vibrational. So just staying in a positive headspace, just taking it one day at a time. Maybe I'll go jog today and ride a bike tomorrow. Journaling, vision boards, things that bring you negativity. You don't have to go around it. You don't have to be around that. You can call them another day. You don't always have to make yourself available. Your temple is you and you alone. When your life, you live by yourself. You only have control of your life. Nobody is in you and experiencing with you but you. So be okay with telling people no. Be okay with turning certain settings down. Be okay with yourself. Learning yourself. Being okay with being by yourself. Some people get crazy when they got to be alone, and it's because you're not in tune with you. You don't know how to vibe with you. So if you don't know how to vibe with you, how are the people really gonna know how to vibe with you?
Yeah.
What you put out is what you bring in. So just staying in positive head spaces, reading positive books, looking at positive shows. Start one day at a time. You on Facebook every day, all day. Don't get on there today. And then go another week straight, and then go 2 days without it, and then go a week straight. And go, it's just baby steps and having a made up mind and putting yourself in the position to do that. Instead of going to the club that night, the gym be open.
24 hours.
You know what I'm saying? Go to the gym, hit that music, then that gym. Get there, you by yourself. I like going to the gym 2, 3 in the morning because I don't have to deal with people. So it's just finding positive things. Instead of watching that reality show, go watch something on Disney with your kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Instead of cooking by yourself today,
Like
let the
literally
kids come cook
TV
with you.
on the child channel the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
it kind of helped me out because I was getting an understanding more of what is he intaking.
what is what?
No, like well, like you said, like watch the Disney Channel. It kind of like I spent the whole day with watching nothing but what he was watching,
Uh-huh.
and it kind of like it kind of helped me out in a way because I'm like I got a more of an understanding of like hey, I see why you like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they play music, they get to dancing, like.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like also it kind of helped me out too because now I'm seeing what he intaking, like what's keeping him entertained and stuff like that.
What's
So
educating him?
huh?
So what's educating him. You
Yeah,
want to know
yeah.
what your kids are really learning and what they taking from of. You'd be surprised what your kids be watching.
You know, for real. For real.
You'll be real surprised. So yeah, I try to do things. If I see something that's educational or beneficial, hey, come on, y'all, watch this with me. You know what I'm saying? I probably done already watched it, but I'm gonna run it back so I can watch it with them. So they can get the message out of it. Because sometimes your kids ain't gonna want to hear the message from you. I'm gonna let you know that now. They ain't trying to hear shit you talking about. your kids, your kids ain't hear nothing you talking about. But what you can do now is maybe while on your way to in the school in the morning when you're dropping them off, play that particular song that has that message that you want to give to your kids. Make it a favorite song for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Something you watch. Like I was watching they had a new gospel movie that came out. I think it was Rise Up or something like that it was called. I had watched it and I'm like, dang, my daughter need this. My 16, I'm like, she need this right here, right now. Watched it back with her. Hey, come watch this movie with it. I ain't even let her know I seen it. I watched it just like I never seen it. You know what I mean? So it's just redirecting your life and the thing around you and the people around you. So
Okay. All right. So we getting up there in time. I'm gonna ask you. This is gonna be the last question, and then after that, I kind of want you to kind of shout yourself out, let people know how they can support you, where they can find you at, and how can they get involved with what you got going on. But my last question, though, for you is, man, what change do you want to see in the culture?
The change I want to see in the culture
And also the
is
change you want to be a part of, though. Well, it's a two-part question. The change you want to see, but the change you want to have a fingerprint and a part of being.
I want to see the Black love back in our culture.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Black love is one of the most powerful loves that you will ever come in contact with. And I'm going to say that. Why? Because even through generations of mental and physical abuse, we still loved. We still opened and welcomed every nationality. We still, even when we got together, it was all laughs and love and music. We just some loving people, and we've gotten away from that with all this, negativity that's meant to break us up and is doing our job. Willie Lynch did his number. I commend him because he had a strategy and he executed it. Because
I think they call it 300 years of Willie Lynch or something like that.
Yeah, and it's going on today. It's just now that your brain are in the shackles and not your physical now. So I want to see us get back into a place where we take care of our own. I want to see the unity back. I want to see the power that we inhaled. And if we made this world go round. If you take away the things that Black people invented, nobody would be able to operate. So I want to get back to that place. I want to get back to the unity and back to the love. And my change in that is Melanin Children Matter. I feel we need to start with our youth. And if we're going to get back to that, we gotta jump back to the youth. We gotta start with the youth because I'm sorry, we too far gone. Most of us, it's hot girl this and gang that, everybody, So we got to get back. We got to get back to the positivity, dressing dapper, You know,
Yeah.
we got to get back to where we originally stemmed from, and before slavery, because people forget we was here before slavery. We didn't just arrive.
Oh yeah.
You know.
No, most definitely. Most definitely. So, what are some ways that people can help support or help like push the cause that you fight?
So, support me. I'm on all platforms. Melanin Children Matter. You can Google me, Melanin Children Matter 411 Yelp. I'm everywhere. This is the logo. When you see that, share it. King Nasir. When you see that name, share it. There's anything you feel like donating to, please donate, because this is helping other families. And you're going to see it help other families. I'm going to make it aware that it's helping other families. I want people to know what they're donating to, and it just don't disappear like, you know, some organizations have a tendency to do. So
Yeah. Not
this is real. So you
yeah.
can go to melaninchildrenmatter.org. That's the website, but you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, with the X now. So just type in Melanin Children Matter and look for the logo. TikTok, I'm on there.
TikTok too.
Yeah. Just sharing support, man, because the more you share, the numbers go up, and the more it catches people's eyes, and we can get the donations that we need to help the families that we need to help.
Hey, man, yeah, that's what's up, man. I'm most definitely. Well, we're gonna do our part. We're gonna share. We're gonna promote, and this podcast is gonna be available on all streaming platforms. No matter if you're on Amazon Music,
Okay.
Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Deezer,
Awesome.
iHeartRadio, Pandora. I don't know, just whatever your platform is, YouTube is gonna be available, and I'm gonna
awesome.
those links too. And I'm actually proud we had this conversation.
Yeah, I'm glad
because
we did too.
Because I ain't gonna lie to you, like you had a hell of a journey.
Man.
You had a hell of a journey. And the
Yeah.
fact that you still here smiling, you feel me, pushing, fighting, and creating, man, that's inspiration to me as a black man. Like if she could do it, I could do it.
Yeah, definitely.
And I feel like you probably don't even know that you got that type of glow and aura about yourself. But just hearing the story and understanding, like, just persevering through hard times, man, you a champ.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Like, you really out here, you really eating in the streets. You the epitome of that. Like, because you 10 toes down and you go against the grain.
Yeah.
And you figuring it out.
Yeah.
You ain't letting your situation stop you. You're not letting trauma stop you. You're not letting like fucking barriers or anything like that stop you. You just keep fighting and like you like, I'm gonna figure it out. And I feel like that's what our people need.
Yeah.
They need to see that like no matter what you go through, you can figure it out and you yourself can push through and make it happen. Because you can make a difference.
Yeah.
But you just gotta believe that I'm of value enough to be able to make a difference.
Right. Yeah.
So we appreciate having you on the show today.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
I'm gonna be following you. I'm gonna be supporting. You feel me? No matter if we gotta come back on here again and do this all over again. You said co-parenting was another topic, so we can come on here and talk about all that. Like,
hit me up. I'm out here.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, you 10 toes out here, man. Like, we appreciate you, and I'm gonna also be sending you a link to this episode. And I appreciate everybody that was tuning in. I sent waves to everybody that was tuning in. We had a few people tuning in. You feel me? So yeah, man. I thank you.
I thank you for having me. I look forward to seeing you blossom in your journey as well, because I know you're coming up. I see you.
Appreciate you.
I see you. Thank you.
All right. Peace and love.
Love.